For Oklahoma State, we've seen them start very fast at times this year at home, and we've seen them sputter a little bit out the gate at times at home.
Well, obviously Cincinnati would appreciate the latter. An interesting matchup tonight. Cincinnati very capable, young in a lot of spots. We talked about Hayes, how good she is, but they're really going to try to dictate the pace. They're going to be very deliberate at both ends of the floor, not allow Oklahoma State to get in a lot of rhythm.
Lugasa kicks to an open C. It's too much. Tanea Hilton, a senior out of Canada, transferred from Texas A&M. Leading the break, open jumper from the mid-range, no. Tipped by Cincinnati, but Annegret Hassi comes away with it as we look at the Cincinnati starting five.
It'll be important, just like it is for every opponent, to get back and transition against the Cowgirls. They push it so well, not only on misses, but also on makes. They want to push the basketball, flatten out the defense, and get that ball moving early in offense.
Smith is bumped and fouled. She'll go to the line for the first time today. Katrina Merriweather in her second year as the head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats. And Brendan, it really stood out her vision and her plan for this program.
Really impressed with their background. Was terrific at Wright State. Got it going in a couple years at Memphis, but then the opportunity to go back home, essentially, and coach at Cincinnati. Went to NIT a year ago in her first year, but you can see the improvement in development from year one to year two. And as we talked to her before tonight's tip, also excited about what could return for her, but also they've signed an excellent recruiting class, so the future looks bright for Cincinnati.
She's helped shatter glass ceilings at Cincinnati before. She was a GA when they went to their first NCAA tournament back in the early 2000s, right after her playing days. 2-0 Oklahoma State. Jackson with just 1 second to shoot has the fling one up. The prayer goes unanswered, and the shot clock buzzer sounds. It'll be Cowgirl basketball.
Well, one thing that's definitely improved from Oklahoma State this year is their defense is really good. Probably not talked about enough. And tonight, J.C. Hoyt, the game plan against the Bearcats, they drive it really good. Not necessarily a good three-point shooting team. They're going to really try to do a great job on individual one-on-one perimeter containment. You saw them that last possession.
Nearly a turnover on the other end. Now it's out of bounds. It'll stay with Oklahoma State. J.C. Hoyt in her third season and finishing up what is now about to be her first regular season as a mother. Remember, she gave birth back in November.
I'll tell you what, the life of a collegiate head coach at this level is busy. But a welcome addition to she and Daniel's family. And you know, as far as Oklahoma State and their team, you could tell, I believe in November, she really liked the makeup of this team. And even with a lot of newcomers, they were connected early on, and you could see it in their play.
See, couple of moves, is fouled, it won't fall, but she'll go to the line. And it was fun, Brendan, to hear J.C. Hoyt talk about the community that she feels like she's had around her as she's walked through this season, both to help with the baby, but also obviously to push this Cowgirl squad to heights that they hoped were attainable, and now they've proven they can get there. More than a 20-win season. Hayes picks up her first personal. That is someone who Cincinnati does not want to see in foul trouble, as Aussie makes the first.
Yeah, in the last couple of games, Utah and Tech have both done a pretty good job of limiting her production. Now, Utah was helped by Hayes getting into some foul trouble. Only played, I believe, 27 minutes. So you're right, Adam. Really important every game, but especially here tonight that Hayes is able to be out on the floor and play 32+ minutes.
Hilton in the paint, got the floater. And if you're wondering exactly what Hayes is capable of, she went for 20 and 10 at West Virginia and 15 and 15 at Kansas State. Two very good opponents. C for the mid-range.
That good ball movement right there by the Cowgirls. And if you have watched J.C. Hoyt's teams, the ball definitely moves.
create some numbers advantages tonight. Feel like they might be able to take advantage of some broken floor situation. There's contact and a foul. Take a look back at that last shot from Monagretta.
Well, you get the drive, forcing the help by her. Nice job, Ossie, on that weak side. And then, you know, Cincinnati gets to the foul line in Big 12 conference play more than any other team in the league. And it's Jackson in that case right there. But Jackson, Chloe Mann, we've seen Hilton with the ball in her hands up front. Those three especially are great in space. And you saw it on display right there. It didn't look like Jackson had anything, but she got in there, was able to create contact.
Cincinnati is 4th in the country in free throw attempts per game. They have attempted 99 more foul shots than the Cowgirls, and Oklahoma State has played one more game than Cincinnati has.
Yeah, I'd say Oklahoma State gets their fair amount themselves.
Top 75 in the country in that category as well.
Well, right there, Cincinnati with some full court pressure. They're going to do that some, but Oklahoma State can negate it completely if they continue to attack it like that, get the numbers, and convert.
Hurd can't hit over the top. Pitch out near side to Mann. Chloe Mann, a talented freshman. Both of her parents were Kansas State Wildcats. Both played collegiate basketball. Cincinnati moved into the Big 12. She was somewhat familiar. Hayes over Egareva, banks it in.
And you'll take that right there. And notice Hayes bringing Egareva out on the floor. They have done more and more of that recently.
Wooten says, I've got some mid-range game as well.
Now, Wooten, a talented, ultra-talented, I should say, freshman. Like a lot of young players, some ups and downs. I thought her floor game and her minutes off the bench against Colorado were really good. And the numbers will tell you, 3 assists, no turnovers.
That one's off the mark. Strong, rebounded by Hurd. I think all 5 made field goals have been from the mid-range. Ossie can't change that yet. And a foul on Egareva on the rebound. Her first, the team's second. Halfway through the first quarter, Cowgirls lead by 4. Oklahoma State 4-1 in their last 5 games. Cincinnati commits an unforced error, turns the ball over, and that'll get us to the under 5 media timeout here in the first quarter. Lots of mid-range jumpers so far. Cowgirls find themselves up 4 at the first break.
Rotation, because of injuries and things, are underclassmen. And this is a young basketball, especially relative to today's day and age of college basketball.
They're trying to work through some of those growing pains, as Coach Merriweather told us earlier. And then for Oklahoma State, they've got a chance to kind of prove their mettle a little bit tonight. Cowgirls want to be one of those top 4 seeds, get the double bye at the Big 12 tournament. This is a chance to help solidify that. They control their own destiny. This is a game you need to win if you want to do that. Monagretta puts the first 3 ball in.
Man, what's happening is Oklahoma State, again, we talked about, even if they don't have a breakaway or an opportunity, they push, get teams on their heels, and then the ball moves quickly after drawing help. And that's what happened there.
Oklahoma State scored 12 points the entire first quarter in the game at Cincinnati. They've already got 13 here as we take a look at where Oklahoma State is in those standings. They're tied with Utah in the loss column, so if they win out, they could be no worse than tied for 4th, and they own the tiebreaker with the Utes having defeated Utah in Salt Lake. Cowgirls in transition, layup no, rebound tipped down by Cincinnati. It's kind of wild, Brendan. The Cowgirls own tiebreakers with everybody that they're in competition for if they just win out how they expect they want to.
Well, you know, not taking anything away from the victories against TCU and K-State, because they were outstanding, but they did have them here. You know, the one that and I think J.C. Hoyt would agree, to me is the most impressive, is a win in Salt Lake at Utah. Utah's a really good team, and that was an ugly grinder game, which you have two excellent ball clubs going at it. You know, at this level in this league, that's a lot of times how those games go.
Off the screen, baseline jumper hits for Hilton.
Boy, Hilton has been such a constant along with Hayes for Cincinnati. And if Hilton can get that to go down, that's huge, because that will open up what she does best, and that's putting it on the floor and attacking the paint.
And she's no stranger to major college basketball. 3 years in the SEC before coming to Cincinnati. Spent a year at Georgia, then 2 at Texas A&M. Hilton coming off of a 16-point game in her last out. Foul, trying to secure the rebound. Macy Heward in the right position at the right time. And we talked with J.C. Hoyt about Heward before the last game, Brendan. Her three-point shot hasn't necessarily been falling, but she's found other ways to continue impacting games.
Yeah, I mean, she just plays with great energy, and she's active defensively and really tenacious on the boards at both ends of the floor. And she's an excellent shooter, and sometimes shooters, when they haven't made shots lately, will press. As you see, Hurd right there, I mean, so strong. And when she drives it, she has an angle. It's almost a done deal.
And she just stays so well balanced to keep that, you know, have that contact and absorb it and still be able to finish. Out of bounds off of Cincinnati as we take a look back at that Staley Hurd strength.
Yeah, Hurd had a tough Utah trip at BYU and against the Utes. Scored just 9 points in 2 games. But it's a long season. It's tough. And you knew she would bounce back, and that's exactly what she did against Colorado. You know, she had the 26 points, 7 rebounds, which, Adam, we've seen her have those type of games. But when she's not turning it over, she had 1 turnover. As much as the ball was in her hands, she took care of it. I think that's truly when she's at her greatest.
It's an offensive foul on Magassa, trying to get position near the rim. That's her second personal, so a little early foul trouble for Tena Magassa.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's obviously big. And the reason it's bigger with Magassa being out maybe tonight is because Hayes, even though they've been trying, Coach Merriweather's been trying to bring her away from the basket to create some space, she could probably post Egareva better than she would be Magassa can, because Magassa's 6'6" and long.
Chloe Mann floats one off the mark. Egareva had her dribble and almost forgot to use it for a moment. Gray walks into one, too strong. We talked about this a little before the game, Brendan. Cowgirls very much a rhythm team offensively. It feels like they haven't quite found that yet. Cincinnati's kept the pace slow enough to kind of keep them off balance, it seems like.
Yeah, but they're going to have to manufacture some buckets here. They don't want this game to get, you know, into double digits. And then probably force them to play a little quicker.
Corner 3 off the mark. Rebound loose. And a jump ball called on the scramble. It will stay with Cincinnati. The Bearcats have only 0.6 of a second left on the shot clock. They have not scored in 2.5 minutes. Cowgirl defense has come strong.
Yeah, Oklahoma State just been so solid this year. And it's not only solid and they have quickness, but their guards are physical. Look at Hurd or Wooten or Smith when she's out.
Off the rim, no. Stripped out of bounds by Wooten. It'll stay with Cincinnati with 19 on the shot clock.
Nice job of Byers hitting the offensive glass right there. Now, Hayes is certainly the ringleader as far as offensive board play for Cincinnati.
Into the paint. Left hand spinner is good for Ariel Jackson.
I'll tell you what, when she drives it and gets an angle, we talked about Hurd for Oklahoma State. It's very similar with Jackson. She just drives it with so much strength.
Heward got the roll from the corner. That's got to feel good to see one go down. Heward came in shooting just 16% from 3 in her last 11 games. And remember, she's an incredibly capable shooter. She's just been in a slump. Maybe that role will make a difference. Hurd flings it up the floor after the rebound. Newton dumps it back off. Heward to go back-to-back. Too strong that time. Igorevpa comes up with a rebound, and she's fouled. Heward letting it fly again. Remember, she made more three-pointers on that shot tracking system in the summer than anybody on it.
Well, and that's Igorevpa right there in a nutshell. I mean, you want to talk about a high motor, and that's what you want your bigs to have. And I think, you know, one of the things that has been nice for J.C. Hoyt, and even last year as a freshman when she was playing some, not as many minutes as she has played as a sophomore this year, is you know what you're going to get. You're going to get rebounding and defense, and you can plug that in as a coach in your rotation and make decisions that are best for the team when you know exactly what you're going to get from someone.
Well, and as of late, she's been scoring it more consistently, 8 or more in 3 of the last 4 games.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. And now what you're getting from her is finishing at the back pretty well. Oklahoma State was 6 of 22 there. That's always important. You play Oklahoma State. So far, Oklahoma State just 3 of 9. That's a wide open one right there. That's 2 wide open, even for Heward, who has struggled as of late.
She did not attempt a 3-point field goal against Colorado. That was the first time in several games she had it.
I mean, my observation, that one was in rhythm and was just smooth. You know, it's like just one needed to go down for her. She got the kind roll a few possessions ago, and that looked more like her, what you saw earlier in the season.
Hilton over the top of the zone, can't hit, and it's rebounded by Hurd. And going back to Heward, Brendan, we talked to Coach Hoyt about her on Saturday. She said her work ethic has not changed at all over the course of this slump. She stayed right in it. She keeps getting in the gym, going to work, and we may be seeing the effects of that as she tries to break out the other side of it. Heward on the dribble drive this time. An offensive foul will take away the 3-point look. So it won't count for Gray, but this last one did from Heward.
Yeah, good offense right here. And again, her draws so much attention. And even though she didn't have anywhere to go, she drove it deep enough, plays off 2 feet. Heward able to pop free at the top of the key, and that was smooth and a rhythm right there.
Remember, Heward debuted in the season opener with Staley Hurd out. She got a ton of minutes, and Heward put up 31 in her debut as a Cowgirl. Just absolutely lit it up. One of 4 different players to score 30 or more in a game this year for Oklahoma State. At last check, Cowgirls are the only team in the country that can say that. Foul underneath on Igorevpa. That's her second personal. So right now, 2 different 5s with 2 fouls for Oklahoma State. We may be seeing Stacey Jones before too long for the Cowgirls.
And Oklahoma State does have depth. Jones a different type of 4-5 type of player. If Jones comes in, what it would do, it would really give them some versatility on the offensive end. But what J.C. Hoyt has elected to do is go small right here.
Drive to the basket is off the mark. Put back won't go either. Pinballing around. Jackson lets it fly. That's off the mark and finally picked up by Heward. Couldn't quite finish. And now a turnover from Cincinnati. The Bearcats, Brendan, usually are a little more deliberate on the offensive end. We've seen them kind of try to pitch it ahead and throw it away a couple times.
Well, like right there, to me, I mean, there's been some opportunity in transition. Coach Merriweather, I mean, they want to not get crazy about it, but I think you still have to be opportunistic in transition when you have the numbers. Just unfortunately right there, it was a turnover. But what they have done, if they don't get anything, nice play right there. They've been bringing it and pulling it back down.
Good strong cut from Smith on the back door, and then Hurd hit her with a beautiful bounce pass. the lane, a foul. And Jillian Hayes, who gets to the line as much as anybody in the country, will be there again.
Here's that back door. And notice how high up the floor Smith is. So she was above the three-point line. And when you go back door, that gives you more space for the passer to connect. And then there's Hayes with Oklahoma State going small. And essentially, Coach Hoyt has had Hurd on Hayes the last two possessions. And Cincinnati wisely goes inside. Now, Hurd is capable. This is one of the things on this subject, Adam, defensively for Hurd that makes her special. She literally can defend the 1 through 5. Now, you wouldn't want her defending Hayes for 25 minutes, but in spot sections of the game, she is really good at versatility on that.
Cowgirls creating a bunch of numbers advantages. A wide open three for Gray.
Well, the assist totals are starting to stack up for her. She's really doing a great job driving to help, having eyes up, and she's playing off 2 feet right now.
Oklahoma State has assisted on 7 of 9 made buckets. There's a foul underneath. The Cowgirls assisted on only 12 shots the entire game at Cincinnati.
Here's the three. Look at her. Draws help. I mean, she knows exactly what she's doing. Looks for Gray. And that's essentially like getting a post touch inside, throwing it into the interior, and then have it kicked back out to you as a shooter. That allowed Gray to be naturally squared up to the basket, have good footwork, and shoot in rhythm.
And Brendan, maybe the sometimes overlooked portion of that is, if you're the passer in that situation, you're Staley Hurd, you've got to be confident that your teammates are going to be where you think they're going to be. And it seems like they're consistently exactly where she thinks they're going to end up with their spacing.
Well, yeah, when you're driving it, though, if your eyes are up, you're seeing your teammate slide to an open spot and create a window for it.
Hurd driving again. This time she's fouled and won't fall. Maya Bird picks up the personal.
Yeah, to me, that's the beauty of basketball. It's a little different than football. Obviously, you throw to spots, essentially, sometimes on routes from quarterback to receiver. But in basketball, you know the vicinity. But when you've played together a lot, you know what and where your teammate is going to go. And that's what, Hurd affects the game in so many ways. We've talked a lot about it, Adam, throughout the course of the season. I mean, she can have games where she scores 8 points and plays great. And she doesn't have to have 26 like she did against Colorado the other night. She already has 4 assists here. And already a little less than a quarter and a half through.
To paraphrase the great philosopher Michael G. Scott, I believe he said, football's more like rock and roll and basketball's more like jazz. Sometimes it's not thrown into a spot. You gotta be playing jazz with your teammates, figure out where everybody's at the same time.
That was a big bucket right there. I mean, Cincinnati really needed something to go down from the perimeter.
First points of the game for Jackson. Heward scooping, can't make it off the glass. That had quickly gotten up to, what is that, a 16-point advantage before that last three-pointer. Hayes with the spin. Air balls the fall away. Heward saves it back inbounds. Hurd has her shot blocked. Nice job by Hayes that last time on the other end of the floor, kind of stymieing the momentum on the drive from Hurd. She may go right back at it here, though. On a great C, can't finish. Got a little frantic here in the last couple of minutes. Cincinnati wants to set something up. Off the screen, three-pointer, no.
Oklahoma State, again, sticking to the game plan. They're not getting overextended. Just going to keep everything in front.
Hurd flies in for the offensive rebound, but saves it back into the Bearcats. This is a long run of pretty physical play without a stoppage. Oklahoma State has not scored in more than 2 minutes. Cincinnati had that 3 in there, or they'd have a similar run. There's a drive and a make for Jackson. She's got the last 5 for the Bearcats.
Yeah, really good play right there. Great job of getting downhill.
Hurd open. Too much. Hilton has no numbers. Slows it up as she gets to the wing. Ball stripped underneath. Free. And scooped up by Wooten on the right. 5 on 4 at the moment. Wide open Heward from the corner. No. And a foul on the rebound attempt, I believe, against Cincinnati. A hectic last few minutes, but Oklahoma State leads by double figures with 3.5 to play before halftime in Gallagher-Iba.
Stillwater on January 22nd. That was after being down double digits, and then K-State from start to finish. I mean, that was just like a perfect storm at both ends. You know, you win at Utah, the NCAA tournament team. You split with a really good West Virginia team.
Strict free underneath. Out of bounds off Cincinnati.
Well, if you're Cincinnati, I mean, you know, this last 3 minutes, you're just trying to hang on. Keep Oklahoma State out of rhythm, and then hope you have a couple of buckets go. Maybe you can turn Oklahoma State over, get something easy in transition.
One. Oklahoma State had been one of their last 8, but Cincinnati just hasn't really been able to keep up with them scoring-wise.
And right there, you know, we've seen her do it multiple times tonight, driving and kicking. And you know, I'll see, she's such a smart player. That's just driving to help, forcing that defender to come to you, and then kicking.
In to shoot for the Bearcats. 5 to shoot. It's off the mark. Smith gets the board. Cowgirls winning the rebound battle again against the Bearcats. They were plus 19 in the matchup in Cincinnati in January. Wide open look for Gray. Off the mark. Offensive rebound. Gray with the pump fake. She'll try again. Too strong again. Hurd slaps it out. And now we have a foul against Staley Hurd, it would appear. Yes. Those in orange and black disagree.
I mean, Hurd was all over this possession. There's the miss. Yeah, tough one right there. She had tapped one previously. That's a second one.
I don't know that there was much contact on anybody.
You know, sometimes, I mean, I don't know. But I think if you're officiating, sometimes Hurd does some things athletically that you don't see a lot. Because you've talked a lot about it, Adam, when we've been on Oklahoma State games before. I mean, athletic, strong, tremendous balance.
Press here from Cincinnati. When you have that kind of balance too, you can end up changing directions in ways that are a little bit unexpected. Maybe that's what helped that last call go against her. See, out to Woot. Right to the rim for 2.
Yeah, Coach Merriweather was wanting a moving screen on Egareva. Egareva cleared the lane for that drive right there. what happens when you play Oklahoma State. I mean, quick shots, turnovers. If they get in transition, they space so well, they move it so well, they shoot the three so well in transition, and then before you know it, I mean, they're on a huge run.
Cincinnati has not had a field goal in 3 minutes. Wooten got to the rim there, and then Micah Gray had missed their last couple, but I think they think anytime she shoots, it's probably going in.
Yeah, and you get a quick shot on the other end, and then Gray, who's been shooting it much better as of late, like we've talked about, but I think where she's most dangerous and can get into really good rhythm from long range is in transition. But, you know, honestly, Cincinnati was hanging tough. The problem for Cincinnati until this latest explosion offensively in Oklahoma State, they just haven't been able to manufacture points on the offensive end. And, you know, they're hanging in there, and then Oklahoma State finally gets that run that you see a lot from them.
Cincinnati just 21% from the floor, although there's a make from Hayes, just her second field goal. Under a minute to play before halftime. And you mentioned it as part of that run, Brendan. Cincinnati had kind of a quick shot possession in there, and you really cannot help this Oklahoma State offense with those quick offensive possessions of your own in those moments. Knocked out a play, it'll stay with the Cowgirls. 10 seconds on the shot clock. J.C. Hoyt has gotten pretty used to seeing her team manufacture runs like that, especially at home over the course of this season. Long passes deflected away, and athletic play by Hayes to go up and tip that away.
Yeah, speaking of good athletes, that's why at her size, she's such an excellent offensive rebounder.
Went for 14 and 8 in the game in Cincinnati between these two. Gray open from the top of the key. No. Igor with the board. Maybe a second and a half difference between shot clock and game clock, and Coach Hoyt says, hey, let's slow this down. Five to shoot. Wooten. Left side, we have a push against Cincinnati with just 1.9 on the shot clock. That is not the bonus for Oklahoma State. So they'll have 3.7 to shoot. The shot clock will go away.
Yeah, and not a bad foul, obviously. Smart coaching right there by Coach Merriweather. Now the only thing is that was Hayes. You'd like to have gotten her out of the half with just that one, but makes it a little tougher on Oklahoma State right here.
Right back to Wooten on the inbound. Too strong. Cincinnati got the board, but that'll end the half as Oklahoma State leads at the break 38.
This tells you what a great season you've had. But I think just most importantly is just the rest. And I don't even mean, Adam, just having to go 3 days if you're fortunate to get to the championship. But I think longevity as you go into the tournament.
And one for Tim Magassa, who halted her momentum, ended up drawing the foul on Snyder. Magassa's first points of the game.
Man, and Magassa played 3 minutes in the first half because of those two fouls. Good job running the floor right there. Both she and Egoreva been much better finishing around the basket when they've had angles inside.
It just adds one more layer to an already dynamic Oklahoma State offense as Magassa hits the and one free throw. 20-point game early on here in the second half, excuse me. A kick out to the wing. It's short. Smith with the rebound for Oklahoma State. Hurd couldn't turn the corner, and now it's stripped free by Hayes. Back to Hayes. Trying to go around Magassa. Shot might have been deflected, but an offensive rebound and a score for Byers.
Nice job by Byers. We saw her multiple times in the first half hit the offensive glass like that.
There's a turnover. On the run is Jackson. It's knocked free, trying to recontrol it, and she does. Short jumper, left short. Out of bounds off of Cincinnati.
Well, you see Cincinnati in the last two possessions, particularly the one prior to this one. They threw it into Hayes, and they're trying to go right at Magassa and try to pick up that third.
Magassa in the high post against the zone. Wide open look for Asi, in and out, and back in.
Yeah, in Cincinnati in that zone, those two guards up top, you don't need both of them in the lap of Magassa, so you have to really communicate who's going to be there because of the shooting at Oklahoma State. A little bit of confusion allowed Asi to be wide open.
From the mid-range, Smith with another rebound for Oklahoma State. Underneath, Hurd with two. Smith had 12 points, 4 rebounds in the game at Cincinnati. She got the rebound, started the break that time. Cowgirls keeping their foot on the gas here in the third quarter. Jackson with 5 points on the night to the short corner. Bullying her way to the basket was Jillian Hayes.
And that's what made Hayes so good. I mean, that's exactly what you do to a shot blocker, rim protector. I mean, you go right at them.
Magassa trying to return the favor. Fall away jumper with the finesse.
Well, Magassa, as we mentioned, has not played her normal minutes because of those 2 early fouls, but she has definitely gotten more looks here over the last 5 or 6 games. They've made a priority, Oklahoma State has, to get her touches. Where's Oklahoma State so good offensively, especially when you leave a shooter like Asi open. Friendly bounce there, and then watch Smith rebound, advances, her to the rim.
Let's give a warm welcome to Gallagher Iber Arena to our new first cowgirl, Angela, and President Jim Hess. Make sure you scan the digital QR code at your seat. Digital seat is the place by working hard.
Just ahead, but Oklahoma State wins over all of those teams actually that are also in the tournament, according to Charlie Cream. So whatever seed they are, they reckon to try to make some noise. With a finish for Ramaya Bird in the paint.
Well, I think anybody in Oklahoma State's hitting all cylinders, and that's kind of on cue. When they're hitting all cylinders, Micah Gray is knocking down threes, in particularly three-point range. I mean, there's a lot of pieces. I mean, you literally have 5 or 6 players in the right situation that can go get you 20, or have a night where they would have 20. Defensively, they're better.
And there's something to be said as the shot clock starts to wind down. It's flung up. Boy, the English on that from Snyder for the finish.
And Snyder, one of those young players getting thrown into the fire because of injury and missing personnel, particularly as far as bigs go. Actually, she played really. She started the last couple games coming in and thought she played well.
7 points in each of the last 2 contests. Shot better than 50% from the field in both of those as well. Cowgirls get the rebound here. Asi from the corner, in and out. Make a red bust. Can't get the stick back. Cincinnati grabs it this time. Cincinnati really struggled a little bit to score in the game at their place as well against Oklahoma State, scored in the 40s. Still trying to eclipse the 30-point mark in this one. 5 minutes to play in the third.
And when you're good defensively on the perimeter, like Oklahoma State is, and then if you happen to be fortunate enough to be able to drive it, a lot of times you have a 6'6" rim protector, and Magassa sitting back there waiting on you.
Cowgirls by 22. 4:50 to play in the third quarter in Stillwater.
What do you want me to do?
There's like on a Gret AC.
Well, you know, there's comfort in having a Jones and Langerman. I mean, this team is really deep. And on different ball clubs, those two would play a lot more than they've played. But those three, you know, Anna Gret AC, I think her career speaks for itself. The way she shoots it and scores and distributes. I mean, just an excellent major college basketball player. Smith, I think, is a super important piece for Oklahoma State with her defense and rebounding and her toughness, the quiet way she goes about herself. And then obviously Magassa. I think along with, we talked about this perimeter defense of Oklahoma State, she's helped them become even better because of rim protection. Some really tough pieces, or good pieces, that cannot return for Oklahoma State. But the other side of it, Adam, you know, J.C. Hoyt's not looking ahead, but we can. I mean, Staley Hurd's just a sophomore. I mean, she's got a chance, honestly, to become an All-American. Micah Gray, you think that the way she fits in the system, she comes back. So a lot of very, very good pieces. Jaden Wooten, I mean, another year of experience, and you can see the ball being put in her hands next year as a point guard. Good recruiting class. So anyway, I think Oklahoma State's going to be really good, assuming all that happens for the next couple of years. Continue to be good.
You mentioned Wooten. The foul will go against Cincinnati. Wooten was banged up going into the season this year, so she really didn't even get that first full off season at the collegiate level. So there's a lot of growth potential for her next season.
Yeah, and you know, every player, even freshmen, they want to come in and play 30 minutes a game. But I think long-term wise, it was very good for her to come in and be a key piece. And that she can, you know, her ability is off the charts. Her vision, ability to get to the paint, she's confident, sees the floor great. But to watch Smith, you know, AC, those two in particular, who are different players than her, but how you play at this level, and how important it is to not take possessions off defensively, how important it is to take care of the ball and just do simple things. But I would expect Wooten next year to make major steps as a player. And she's already effective now, not taking anything away from her, but I think it's been good that she hasn't had to play with a lot of pressure.
Magassa fouled. Tana Magassa will go to the line, and we talked about this some with Senior Day on Saturday when we had that game as well. And you're looking at players like Magassa who come in, they're only here in Stillwater for a year, but what a difference that year has made in J.C. Hoyt's third year at the helm, kind of putting some of these puzzle pieces together for them to make a run towards the top of this Big 12 conference.
Well, it's harder and harder, you know, for coaches to, I think, put teams together because of the transfer portal. The movement that players now can go from school to school. And so it's hard to know. It's harder to know. And many times, I mean, heck, in this day and age, if you bring back 3 or 4 core players, you're ahead of the game. You know, we talked to Coach Merriweather before the contest tonight, head coach at Cincinnati, and she kind of said that. She goes, you know, I'm trying to create a core group, and then we'll fill in pieces with the portal. But if you can do that, you know, you're in good shape, but you don't know for sure what you're going to get because the recruiting is almost like speed dating. But J.C. Hoyt and her staff did a great job bringing in players who had good character, that were team first, and you could see it early in the season. They've been connected all year long. And Adam, you know, it's fun to be part of teams where nobody cares about who gets the credit. And then when you win, that's kind of fun too.
It is a little bit of, it adds to the excitement, certainly. I think Jaden Wooten might have felt like she got away with one there. She kind of gave a look at the foul call, like raised her eyebrows, like, oh, okay. Gave me a chuckle anyway. Inside Magassa. Fouled again, and that is one dimension that we've talked about this when we've had Oklahoma State this year. Magassa has grown in over the course of this season, and if you can rely on her, she doesn't have to be a star back to the basket player, but if she can bring that element to this offense, that's just one extra layer.
Well, you have to, you know, as my former coach here, Eddie Sutton would say, no matter what your personnel is at the post position, you have to throw it in there sometimes or enough to keep defenses honest. And they were doing that early in the year with Magassa, but it's happening more. And if you look at the last 5 games coming in, she's had 38 field goal attempts, by far the most in any five-game stretch this year. And she's averaged 10 points over that period, which tells you she's finishing better. So you're exactly right. Now, she doesn't have to go get you 15, but a couple times a game you throw it in there and she has success. That keeps those defenses honest on the interior.
She's also doing something tonight that would be a big step forward in that she's 4 for 5 at the foul line. She's just above a 50% shooter on the year. Cincinnati looking for points. Just 5 seconds to shoot for Chloe Mann, the freshman out of Fort Worth. 1 to shoot, flings one up, left it short. Rebounded by Wooten. Freshman on freshman here as Wooten dribbles into the front court. Back to Gray for 3. No. Magassa tracks down the long rebound. And then an offensive foul called against Tenon Magassa. Magassa getting some encouragement from her head coach, who I don't think agreed with the call.
Yeah, that you know,
she was going to get the ball.
I mean, it's hard to officiate. I mean, you're going to miss one every once in a while. Yeah, that definitely was not on Magassa. But I tell you what was great right there, Magassa showing her athletic ability to run that down after that long rebound. You know, whoever gets to the ball first is the victor. You know, it's the one who gets to it second where the foul is called. And typically.
Not that time. We play on anyway. Staley Hurd powering her way in there. Couldn't finish. Egareva, who's in for Magassa, also couldn't get it to go. And now a sprint the other way. The Euro step and the finish over the European. Looking for Jackson. Wooten, off glass, no. Egareva brings it down. Wooten from the mid-range, no. Oklahoma State has missed 10 straight field goal attempts. Cincinnati has just won for its last 8. Inside it goes to Hayes, and 1.
Well, that's an example, Adam, we talked about the first half. I mean, there were some stretches where the tempo, the defense for Cincinnati, it was really good. And where you would want it to be on the road against a good team, they just haven't been able to score during those stretches. But there's Hayes right there. I mean, does such a great job of using her body to create contact and go right at you. And right there, the ability to go over that right shoulder. And Hayes has been terrific. You know, we talked about her being at the top of the scouting report when teams play Cincinnati. I mean, she never takes a possession off. And that's what Coach Merriweather said about her day-to-day, not just games, but in practice. Been a great example for these young players.
I'll see off the mark, and allow me to correct myself, that's actually the 10th consecutive miss. The Cowgirls have not made a field goal in more than 5.5 minutes. They haven't scored in more than 2, and the foul will send Cincinnati back to the line. Heward picks up her 3rd personal. So Heward, Egareva, and Magassa with 3 fouls apiece.
Well, I like the way Cincinnati's continuing to grind and fight.
It'll be Ariel Jackson going to the line. Her mom, Kim, was the #4 overall pick in the inaugural WNBA draft back in 1997. So she ought to know how to get the ball in the hoop. Kim played 3 years for the New York Liberty and had about a decade-long professional career.
Well, you can tell Jackson is really good in broken floors in transition. You saw it right there. I mean, she just handles it with strength and surety. And we saw her in the first half a couple of times after some ball movement be able to take Oklahoma State perimeter defenders off the bounce and turn the corner.
Cincinnati in a zone. Wooten had it deflected away. Cincinnati in transition. And the layup is good for Hilton. Cincinnati's got the deficit to 15 as the clock ticks down in the third quarter. Looking to set something up, may not have time. Hurd lets it fly at the buzzer, no good. Cincinnati closes the third quarter on an 8-0 run.
Oklahoma State was able to control the glass with the tempo. They never really got into tremendous rhythm. That stretch in the second quarter for Oklahoma State was really the only time, at least in my opinion, where they were able to get out and run, and they ended up busting it open.
Magassa into double figures on that last make, all of them coming in the second half. You mentioned Cincinnati protecting the ball, Brendan. They did not turn it over in the third quarter even once. Reagan Jackson inside to Hayes. Turnaround, high arcing shot falls.
And Magassa had done a good job of not letting Hayes catch the ball deep, had her outside that block. Hayes just made a terrific offensive play.
Inside, Magassa on the catch. He's double teamed and fouled.
We talked about the steadiness and the toughness that Hayes provides Cincinnati. And here's an example right here. Magassa defended that well. I think a thing might bring some rain in here. It was so high. Look at that right there.
If she'd done that off of 1 foot, it would have looked like Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, really nice.
Magassa to the foul line. Again, all 10 of her points have come in the second half. She makes another at the free throw line. She's been good in that area tonight. Brendan, Oklahoma State down to just 38% from the field and 31% from three. That's well below average.
Yeah, I think if you were Coach Merriweather and you came in and you held Oklahoma State under 40% from the floor in this building, I mean, I know that she would take that.
Magassa gets the block. That is 4 straight games with at least 3 blocks and 8 of the last 10 from Magassa. Jackson got the friendly roll.
Well, Magassa obviously has length and size at 6'6", but she is way more than that. Terrific timing, and her position defensively is always very good.
Out of bounds, they'll give it back to Cincinnati. And Brendan, the Bearcats must have figured out something defensively against Oklahoma State, because they held the Cowgirls to 41% in Cincinnati as well. So this is 2 games against the Cowgirls where they've played well defensively.
And I think it's, again, I think it's more of a rhythm thing. And they're opportunistic in transition offensively if it's there. But if not, they're putting Oklahoma State on defense, slowing the game down. And then conversely, if they can take care of it like they have here in the second half, it takes them out of rhythm.
Blocking foul called against the Bearcats. Micah Gray will go to the line. Hilton picks up the person.
Let's watch this right here. Gray trying to take Hilton off the bounce. That's a tough one there. Gray had a little bit of an angle, but I was curious to see if the officials felt like she would extend and push off.
There's a little distance there. I guess they said it was on the floor, so no free throws. Hurd, no good.
Well, Cincinnati, this young team definitely has some toughness to it. They're scrapping, fighting, clawing, giving everything Oklahoma State wants here this second half.
Beautiful fight from Aussie to her.
Now, one of the just a couple of times, Adam, here the second half that Cincinnati hasn't gotten back in transition and matched up defensively.
Foul on Staley Hurd, who is arguing her case.
Well, Staley Hurd needs to watch it. She's a tremendous competitor. Let's take a look right here. So what I would assume is they felt like she grabbed the forearm.
Yeah. Got the hand in there.
Yeah.
She had one final word. It looked like she left the floor. But she knew where the line was. Corner three off the mark. Magassa with another board. Cowgirls running already. Kind of a double clutch. Chauncey couldn't hit it. Magassa's everywhere right now. Poke that one free.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated thing with her. Her ability to run the floor and move her feet at her size.
Right through contact and one.
Well, this is something about Oklahoma State scorers. Obviously, if you say, okay, what does Aussie do best? What does Gray do best? You would say shoot the three-point shot. But they can all put it on the floor as well. And that play, you know, that plays off one another, meaning the drive sets up the three-point shot. Micah Gray's knocking down threes. It's going to set up her ability to drive the ball. And like Hurd and even Wooten, certainly Smith, they're all very physically strong with the basketball when they put it on the deck.
Right-handed runner, no. Heward with the rebound. Oklahoma State in transition again. Cowgirls up 20. And Brendan, we talked earlier about Oklahoma State, the only team in the country with 4 different players to put up 30 in a game this year. This may be when they're at their most dangerous. 4 different players in double figures in this contest. Very balanced scoring effort tonight. I see short. Hilton driving, got fouled. Playing with that right wrist wrapped up a little bit, been battling a little bit of an injury with that, but playing through it.
Now you have to play, you know, every team is banged up or had, you know, many of them have key personnel that are out. And Coach Merriweather basically said, I think, you know, we said, hey, you've got a couple nice pieces not available to you. And she said, well, that's just the way that it is. But as I watch Cincinnati here tonight, with Hayes in there and these guards that can drive it, man, I think they have toughness as a team. They are literally one excellent three-point shooter or a couple of threats from the perimeter of being really good. Really, really good.
Well, and she talked to us earlier about how excited she is about the class she has coming in, the freshman class, and that's before she has a chance to get into the transfer portal this offseason. Cowgirls have only made 20 field goal attempts, but they've assisted on 16 of those, so it hasn't gone down as frequently as they'd like, but they've done a nice job sharing the basketball. Nearly a travel, kick out for 3, it's good. Abby Holtman, the sophomore out of Florence, Kentucky.
Well, speaking of three-point shooters, she certainly can make a 3. 37% on the year.
Jumper from the mid-range is no good. 15-point game still. Make it 12 as Mann drops one in. Coach Merriweather's squad refusing to go away in Stillwater. And a timeout from J.C. Hoyt.
Hey, I mean, Adam, this team wouldn't have to make 8 a game. We're not saying that, but every once in a while, get one of these to go down, they become a different team. Complements their perimeter play and ability to drive it. Back-to-back trays. Got it down to 12.
And we want to say thank you, Cowgirl fans, and Penny Stone Foundation and your Cowboys versus Savior campaign. We raised $4,100 in the auction for the KDL Foundation and Cancer Research. Thank you, Cowgirl fans.
But if you watch over the last 6 games, becoming a legitimate scoring threat. Only plays 3 minutes the first half, Adam, because of 2 early fouls, but it's been a terrific second half for her. All 12 points here in the third and fourth quarters. Made all her shots from the floor. 6 of 7 from the line. She's a 53% free throw shooter on the year. So after tonight, I mean, Jill scored in double figures 3 of the last 4 and had at least 9 points in each of the last 6 games. And this is coming on at a perfect time as March approaches for Oklahoma State.
Foul will send Aussie to the line, and Brendan, she's dealt well with the physicality of Jillian Hayes, and that's one thing that Coach Hoyt said early on in the year. They wanted to see Tenin Magassa become a more physical player, and they thought she would have to do that to be successful in the Big 12, and we've seen her. It was a little up and down early on, but in the games that we've had Oklahoma State recently, we've seen that blossom a little bit.
Yeah, definitely has played more physically and more intelligently. For the most part, stayed out of foul trouble. I mean, she did tonight in the first half, but she's an important piece for Oklahoma State. And look, when they go to the Big 12 championship in Kansas City and NCAA tournament, after that, I mean, depending on matchups, I mean, she's going to play. But there may be some matchups where you need her for 28 minutes, and she's got to stay out of foul trouble. All intents and purposes, she's really become an excellent player at both ends of the floor, and really becoming an intelligent player at both ends of the floor.
The effort play by Byers to take it away, and she draws the foul.
The Bearcats keep coming at you. Right here. And that's Wooten taking off with the dribble. And you always have to have your eyes up. Byers, who's been active all night long, making another hustle play.
Well, those are the kind of plays that they have relied on her to make at times this year. In the win at Texas Tech, Byers did not score, took only 2 shots, but she had 11 rebounds in that game. Made one, missed one. Cowgirls by a baker's dozen with 4.5 to go in Stillwater. Oklahoma State controls its own destiny to a top 4 seed at the Big 12 tournament and a double bye to start the tournament. An offensive foul on Igarev, but she knew it.
Yeah, she did know it.
That's 4 on Igarev and 4 on Magassa.
Yeah, this is a good little play right here because you get her the ball in an immediate ball screen. Egareba was just late getting there.
So is that on Igarev for not getting there in time, or does Hurd also need to recognize that and slow down?
Well, both. Now, typically, I would put that on the ball handler, but that wasn't a true ball screen. That's more of a rub and a timing play where Igareva's got to get there quickly. Now, if it's just the ball screen out front, yeah, those guards have to wait and let those bigs get established.
Hayes went right after Igorevba, drew the foul, and that is 5 on Praise Igorevba. Her night will come to an end. Jillian Hayes averages more than 15.5 a game and about 9.5 rebounds per game. She's the team leader in both of those categories, and she's been really good tonight. In fact, she's got 13 and 9.
Yeah, and she's really good at getting to where she is right now. You know, coming into tonight in her career at Cincinnati, I mean, this number was crazy. She's been to the line 783 times in her career.
These Hayes will be number 6 and 7 attempts on the night, which puts her over 200 this season alone. Makes the first. And again, Hayes came in 11th in the country in free throw attempts and 15th in the country in free throws made this season. Kind of hard to envision 10 people shooting more free throws than her. Got them both. Coach Merriweather also praised Hayes' consistency, Brendan, and we're seeing that again. She's right at her season averages tonight, points and rebounds.
Well, you know what you're going to get out of her in terms of numbers, but more importantly, you know what you're going to get out of her in terms of effort and leading this team by example.
Nagasa spinning, firing, can't hit. An 11-point game. Floater, no. Hurd weaving through traffic. Cowgirls generally a fast-paced team, but perhaps in the spot here you want to slow it down a little bit?
Well, Cincinnati had gotten back defensively. Oklahoma State's always going to push. Cincinnati did a good job in defensive transition and getting matched up.
I see trying to lob underneath, but Nagasa couldn't go get it. The Bearcats want to be diligent here. Oklahoma State hasn't scored in 2 minutes again, and Cincinnati has a chance to make this a single-digit game. Dribble drive, a foul, and Nagasa has fouled out of the game with 2.5 to go.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it right here. Now, the Oklahoma State crowd obviously doesn't like this, but I think what you'll see on the drive, first of all, it's with strength by man, goes right into her. I mean, that's a bang-bang, and I guess could go either way. I don't have a big problem with it. Nagasa's moving. Man does a good job of initiating the contact.
I will say this.
This is an intelligent play.
And an intelligent play for a true freshman. Late in the game. Heward checks in as Oklahoma State will go small here. Heward, the tallest player on the floor at 6'2" for the Cowgirls. But the free throw left short by Mann, who shoots it at 77% on the year. Missed them both. Oh. A lot of contact there, and it looks like we'll go to the other end. That is the 15th foul on Cincinnati, so Heward will shoot free throws now.
Yeah, Jackson, right? Hey, Jackson's been physical all night. You see it right there. And what got Jackson in trouble is the hip and the forearm into Heward. But hey, I'm telling you right now, I'd take Jackson on my team. I love the way that she plays.
Heward collects and hits the first. And I'll say this, the physicality is not going to do anything but turn up over the next couple of weeks. It's about to get that much more intense as we approach the end of the regular season. Both of these teams with just one game remaining.
And J.C. Hoyt, I like this right here. Little zone. Will certainly cause Cincinnati to chew more time in this half-court possession.
12-point game. Remember, three-point shooting is not exactly Cincinnati's strength. We have a timeout from the Cincinnati bench. The Bearcats average just 25% from three-point range on the year. That's 338th in the country. So trying to force them to shoot over that zone isn't a bad idea here.
Yeah, and that's part of it. But the bigger part is that Oklahoma State hadn't shown it much, and you get in it, and you can see that's why Coach Merriweather has to call the timeout, because they were starting. You can tell she was visibly frustrated. They were trying to get them in position offensively. Obviously, you got to go to work quick, but those guards out front didn't recognize and were confused. And so credit J.C. Hoyt. It's like throwing a little off-speed pitch when you've thrown a couple of fastballs and softball or baseball. And good move from the bench of Oklahoma State.
How about this? Speaking of benches, Brendan Manzer, Cincinnati did not have a bench point in the first half. They've gotten 13 off the bench in the second half. It's been a complete team effort. Trying to crawl back into this game. Just 2 seconds to shoot. Cincinnati doesn't seem to know. Chucked up at the end. It's off the mark and a foul on the rebound attempt against Oklahoma State. That'll send Cincinnati to the line. That is Heward's fourth.
Yeah, so that's the drawback in the zone. You're obviously not naturally matched up and can turn and check off with somebody behind you, but it looked like that was a shot clock violation.
Helton misses the first.
Well, Cincinnati, well, could have been converting these free throws here. It's even more interesting.
Bearcats have left 7 points at the free throw line tonight. That one's good. Two minutes to play. Oklahoma State leads by 11. And a reach-in foul at the half-court line by Hilton. If you're Oklahoma State here, you've kept the Bearcats at arm's length despite turning the ball over 9 times compared to just 1 for Cincinnati in this second half. And you're in a situation where if you protect the ball and make your free throws, you should be in good shape, but Cincinnati continues to chip away. First free throw good for her. Oklahoma State shooting just 31% from the field, 20% from 3 in the second half, and Hurd makes 1 of 2. Bearcats can't waste any time. That zone really pushing the Bearcats out away from the basket. 15 seconds already chewed up. Inside it goes. And it's good for Jackson. She's into double figures with 11.
Yeah, but that zone's still serving its purpose. It was at least 15 seconds in. Good job of Jackson. You can see her flash right there. Make herself available and does exactly what you want to do. Trying to extend the game, go right to the rim with strength.
Alexia Smith, a 66% foul shooter on the year.
You know, when you talk about Oklahoma State, and with Egarepa and Magassa being out, and obviously J.C. Hoyt doesn't want to coach any game with one or both of those not available because of foul trouble, but it also shows you the versatility of Oklahoma State in the skill set and the depth of their lineup.
I see trying to stay big out at the point of that zone. There's a corner three. It's good. Reagan Jackson into double figures with 10. 1:10 to play. It's a 9-point game. Cincinnati as close as they've been since the first quarter.
And that was a set play right there. Jackson probably the most dangerous shooter from long range.
Cincinnati electing not to foul here. Cowgirls looking for a bucket. Asi crosses over. Bumped. 2 shots coming. Ariel Jackson picks up number 4.
Well, Reagan Jackson, last 6 games has made 14 threes. Hasn't been able to get a lot of open looks tonight. Right there, great catch and shoot in rhythm. I mean, it'll be a lot of work to do and accomplish for Cincinnati. But regardless of the end result, I think Coach Merriweather could be really pleased with the second half. I mean, it would have been real easy for them being down like they were on the road against a really good Oklahoma State team to kind of move on. And they have given Oklahoma State everything they've wanted.
10-point game, 43 seconds. 3-pointer. No, but a foul. And that is 5 on Macy Heward. So the 3rd Cowgirl has fouled out of the contest.
Yeah, you never want to foul a jump shooter. They get Jackson coming off right there, and tough to see. You know, the only thing, let's see if Smith gets her on the elbow, right?
I think they got Heward for getting up underneath her.
Oh, Heward. Yeah, thank you.
So Heward comes out. And now it'll be an even smaller lineup for Oklahoma State. Staley Hurd listed at 5'11". Tallest player on the floor for the Cowgirls. I think the officials are going to take a look to make sure that was a three-point attempt that she was fouled on. Both teams are in the bonus here. And the Cowgirls have all their leading scorers still on the floor. But the post presence has kind of been taken out of the game with foul trouble. Here's a look back. Oh yeah, she was clearly behind the line. Jackson, 74% foul shooter on the year, has a big chance here, makes the first. Ariel Jackson has 4 fouls. Ramaya Bird with 3 for Cincinnati, so a little foul trouble there too.
Well, I would assume J.C. Hoyer having 3 timeouts. That the bucket would have been made, she'd use her timeout to advance the ball.
Instead, it's a Cowgirl rebound, and Alexia Smith will go to the line after the Hilton foul. .36.5 seconds remaining. The last time up the floor, Cincinnati chose not to foul. I would imagine that's probably not an option at this point anymore. Obviously, there was already a foul here. As Smith makes the first. And the second. Off the screen for 3 again. That one's short, and Smith comes in for the rebound. Alexia Smith doesn't always pad the stats, but she tends to show up right when the Cowgirls need her.
Well, she is as good a rebounding guard at her size as you will find. She's had some big games in that category. And that's, you know, one of the reasons that she is so valuable for Oklahoma State. Ability to rebound, doesn't turn it over much. Excellent defender. And what I like about her is you would never know if Oklahoma State was up 30 or down 30 by her demeanor.
Been nails at the line tonight too, 7 for 8, and that demeanor is one thing that I think this staff is hoping will run off a little bit on the young understudy Jaden Wooten, who now has the ball, pitches it ahead to Smith. Smith is fouled yet again, this time by Jackson. As you mentioned, different types of players. I think they want Wooten to keep that fire, but that level-headedness of Alexia Smith has paid off in many ways this season.
Well, she's a 5th-year senior. She's been through this a few times, and you would assume Wooten or other young players that you've been through this thing a time or two. You get it kind of figured out.
Cowgirls up a dozen with 10 seconds left. Spin and a finish for Hilton, who gets into double figures with 11. And that'll be the last bucket of the game as the Cowgirls dribble it out. Both teams have 4 score in double figures, but it's Oklahoma State that comes away victorious, 74-64.
Yeah, I thought Cincinnati played